Emotionally unavailable.
Welcome to Emotionally Unavailable, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of emotional availability and intimacy. I'm your host, Melissa Hepner, and I can't tell you how excited I am to have you join me on this journey of self-discovery and connection. Whether you're navigating the complexities of relationships or exploring your own emotional landscape, this podcast is here to inspire, empower, and entertain. So get cozy and let's explore the depths of human emotions together. Hi guys, happy Wednesday. I hope it's wonderful for you. I'm in a really good mood. Woohoo! Rainy here in Oklahoma. Lots of flooding. Super cute. Okay. Today's guest is Dr. Kristen Williamson, a licensed professional counselor with a PhD in behavioral health management and the ultimate cheerleader for late diagnosed neurodivergent adults. Diagnosed with ADHD and autism just in time for her midlife crisis, Kristen turned her newfound self-awareness into a superpower, helping others navigate their own NeuroSpicy journeys. So this is going to hit y'all women real hard, I think, because you're going to, I think, see yourself in a lot of the things that we talk about. We had so much fun. For sure, a new friend that I'll be stalking in Dallas. Thanks so much. Seriously, re-listening to the conversation just brightened my day. Not that I was having a bad day, but, you know, just a bright spot. That's the best part is, like, I get so much out of this podcast, and then, like, I get to re-listen to the episodes, which just makes it even better for me because I get to hear the conversation again and relive it. So, super good for me. Yeah, I guess I will leave it at that. I had a really good time with her. I know you're going to really like listening to the episode. We just, I don't know, you know how it goes around here, just bonding and stuff. So, yeah, I guess, oh, shit, you know what, I'm really needing to work on my marketing skills. I should be putting an ad in here every single episode about the Empowerment Exchange Summit. Well, I'm not great at talking about this stuff. 4 dynamic speakers. We are really different but the same people, just trying to teach you how to live a life you're in love with. So you can check out any of my social media or website for more information on that. So, all right, lovies, here is Dr. Kristen Williamson and me, and I love you. I appreciate you so much. I'm so glad you're here, and I don't know, I feel good energy, so I think you guys are good too, hopefully. Hey, also, I have a very loyal listener. Hi, Lori, I love you. She sometimes sends me emails about the episodes, and I really like that. I like feedback. So, you know, if you ever wanted to give some, that's fine. Lori's also a devoted follower where she actually shares every one of my episodes, when I post them on social media. So if you could do that too, I would really appreciate that. And I just did that thing that people do in education or toxic workplaces where they give the shout out to the person doing the thing that you want done. I didn't mean it like that, so sorry about that. I do want Lori to know how much I appreciate it, so I want to say it on the show because I do know she listens to every single episode, but also that is something you guys could do to help. I know I say that in the call to action, but okay, that was a lot of words. So hello, I love you, bye.
Emotionally unavailable.
Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can. You're wearing headphones, right?
I am, and I'm talking through a microphone.
Okay. That's fine. I don't require that. So if you're wearing it, I will. Otherwise the sound will be weird. So I was just waiting.
Fair enough.
You were doing is what I mean.
Fair enough. I'm in Texas and it's already flipping hot. So I have my air conditioner on in here and it tends to make it to where I can't hear you as well. So I like having you in my ears. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Oh.
There we go. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So I think I cut myself off. But what I was trying to say was I was waiting to see what you were doing before I decided to plug in or not. So I was like, well, that sounded shitty. Let me just start off by being like, great, you're wearing fucking headphones. That's great.
It's so funny. I didn't even hear any of it like
Okay,
that. I was like, oh, that
good.
makes sense.
Yeah, well, because back in the beginning, I did experiment with some equipment. It didn't go well. Okay. Then I used to do a regular series with a friend on Fridays. She would always wear headphones and I didn't. So there was always a fucking echo that drove me nuts and I would always have to fix it. So now I bought more equipment since I joined Podmatch because I saw that some people require that. So I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. And now because I've run into a couple of issues, I just wait and see what the guest is doing, and then I'll just plug in. Because if you're not, and I do, that's an issue. If you are and I don't, it's an issue. Or if we're not using the same quality of equipment, then I'm not shade at all. It's just I'm recording on Google Meets. I mean,
Oh yeah.
shit sound.
No, I've done enough podcasts as a guest now that I was like, I need to get a microphone. I need to get these different things because if not, like I did it just with these and trusted this microphone.
Yeah. We do learn some tough lessons, don't we?
Yes, we sure do.
Okay. I'm going to ask you this directly. That way I'm not awkward about it. How do you want me to refer to you? Like, do you want me to say Dr. Williamson? What do you want?
Maybe in the introduction, like,
Okay.
Here's Dr. Williamson, but otherwise just call me Kristen.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. That's great. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of a morning. Okay. So
I love that you're having a morning because I'm having one.
Oh, you are?
We're good.
Maybe I'm with you. Okay. I'm so having a fucking morning that I'm doing my best is what I'm doing. And I couldn't even find a bra. So I was like,
not wearing one, so it's fine.
Oh, perfect. Well, it's not very flattering for me. So I just pushed that, laptop screen back a bit.
I just put the like can't see my nips. It's fine.
Well, shit, even the bra I've been wearing, because I have these massive weight fluctuations. And then since I've started working at home, like I've started walking recently. It's helping. But before then, I was sitting on my ass a lot. And so my bras are way too tight. I'm not even going to put myself through that hell. So I've been wearing a couple of different sports bras. My favorite one is missing. My second favorite one is now missing. And they show my nipples anyway. So, hello. Welcome to Emotionally Unavailable.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm so here for it. The one thing I want to tell you is I have a client in an hour.
Yes, I do too. At 12. Well, yeah, in an hour my time. Yeah.
Yeah, at 12 my time. Yeah. So Central.
Oh, are you on Central also?
Yeah.
Oh, where are you?
In Texas. Where are you?
Oklahoma. What part of Texas?
In the Dallas area.
Oh my God, you're like 3.5 hours away from me.
I'm
trying to make friends. Okay, so
I love making
Texas.
Friends.
I'm like, you want to meet up and have coffee?
I love making friends.
Me too. It's hard to make friends. Like
it is.
How do you encourage clients to go make friends when it's like hard for us? I just go straight up like, listen. Them online communities are good. Those local library classes, excellent. Yep. Learn that basket weaving. It's a fun little skill.
I tell my clients that show up to whatever it is you're doing, show up at the same time. You will meet the same people, but also the online communities, like for NeuroSpicy Brains, they're real friends. They're legit people.
No, I agree. And I mean, just through this podcast, because I'm always like, what, I don't lose people well. So will you stay around? Can we stay connected? But I've made some really good friendships on here. I mean, people that I feel so comfortable sharing stuff with, and because it is still an evolution for me to be vulnerable with people and say in real time what I'm experiencing, instead of this is something that I actually just learned that I'm doing just now after this entire year of just intensive healing. I learned still that I love to find an excuse to not talk to somebody and process it all up here, which just means carry it all by myself until I get to the perfect way to feel about it. And then I can go, yeah, dude, last week, I was in the trenches, and then be able to talk about it without emotion. And what I really figured out was that was the part for me. I was trying not to be emotional when talking about experiences, even still. This is the whole show and everything. And I mean, I named it that for a reason. But yeah, man, I'm like learning how to be like, I'm struggling in real time right now. And
I
also
love
saying
that.
like what I need for that, you know?
Mm-hmm. I am a therapist and I still work on that every day.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I'm surprised at how hard it is. But I wonder too, okay, so you are also like, I know that you do a lot of work with neurodivergent people, but like, are you also,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
got
okay,
diagnosed ADHD first and then autism about a year later.
okay. I have never been diagnosed with anything, but that's because I, don't go to the right people to get that done. I don't go
Well,
to the
and
doctor.
now as an adult, insurance doesn't cover
Right.
autism tested. Yeah.
So I'm like, eh. Well, my kids make fun of me a lot because I do have a kid who is diagnosed, and then I have my oldest one is very ADHD. Both my boys are, and then my middle one is the one with like an even more severe ADHD and is also on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
He got that bullshit ass. I fucking hate the new DSM. I hate it so much, but he got that non-specific neurodivergent whatever. Yeah, and I'm like, he's fucking autistic, dude. Like because he could have a somewhat reciprocal conversation, even though in
The
the test.
DSM,
Go ahead.
they're changing it now. Well, so
Again.
for the next one, yeah, instead of that, it's autism level 1, 2, 3.
Perfect.
And that's going to be like low support needs, medium support needs, high support needs, because it's not
Good.
high functioning, low functioning. It's we can function in all kinds of ways, but do we have lower levels of support needs?
Right. Yeah. Well, because obviously there is a spectrum. They say that for a reason. And so
Yes.
for him, God, I wish I had known. I mean, I wish I had even understood autism when he was little, because I would have understood that I fucking love to marry autistic men.
Same.
But if I could have just known, that would have made, because like my first husband, very autistic, very ADHD. And I don't know that he knows he's autistic, but he's
Yep.
very autistic. And
Yep.
so not surprising that I have a kid who shows those signs, but like he could have had a way different type of support when he was little. But I was also one of those moms afraid of medication. Even though I worked in the mental health community, I was like, oh, well, because this was a form of emotional unavailability for me. I had to dismiss this experience to dismiss my shame.
Oh,
So,
yes.
like I was like, oh no, y'all just want to use ADHD as a crutch, because I was so fucking tired of hearing the words I forgot from my ex-husband. Like I was so tired of it that I was like, it's a crutch. And no, this is real. This is real. And so I'm now like, oh, I am so fucking ADHD. And then my kids, like I'll be cleaning something out of my ear and this thing happens that sends like a chill through my spine, and involuntarily I'll make a noise. My oldest is always like, yeah, I don't know where that autism comes from, Mom. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not denying any of it. I probably am. I'm very like low support if I am, but now ADHD, I mean, I think my life is really set up in a way now to where I can just flow with the energetic cycle. So it's no big deal,
I love that. I wrote a book that I'm looking for a publisher for it. It's for late diagnosed women with ADHD and autism and just neurodivergence. And it talks all about how we weren't seen. We're the lost generation.
Yes. Yeah.
And what that looks like. Pardon me?
How old are you?
40.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
40. Well, I'm almost 5 years older than you. I will turn 45 this June, but
so you're part of that lost generation.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that like I think all of our biggest wounds are both betrayal and this not being seen, this invisible thing.
So much.
And we were such good girls. Like we just went.
Well, we had to be. We started,
mm-hmm.
From in the South, growing up. Please, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Girls, we need to sit there and be quiet. We need to smile. We don't cause a fight. I'm realizing that I'm on a tangent, and I don't know if you need to start your podcast or if you say anything.
Oh, I've already started recording. This is how they go, baby. We just have an organic conversation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's all good.
I love it. I'm telling you, hot mess express.
Oh, God. But you know what? My new thing has been fully embracing that, whereas for so long, God, Did you have the most shame about this? Because like I'm the type B friend, okay? And even though I'm super into astrology, so forgive this, but I have a Virgo stallion. So I have a lot of like, and I'm a Gemini, so like a lot of Mercury up in this ass. But like I tried really hard in my getting my shit together years after a divorce crazies period, to be very regimented and scheduled. And I was so ashamed of all the times I forgot about the school, this or that, or, just felt like I failed my kids. So I was trying to be perfect at everything and be
Yep.
very regimented, and oh God, made everybody else around me as crazy as I was. And now I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck up sometimes, honey. Like I'm gonna fuck up and I'm gonna forget, and I'll sit with you in your disappointment, and I'm really
Yep.
sorry too. But like I can't hate myself forever over these dumb little perceived failures,
It's so funny. I went the opposite direction. Because when it comes to my diagnoses with both ADHD and autism, of course, I got diagnosed with anxiety like decades before.
Yes.
But I think of it as stepping. Like I step forward and I present more with autism, and the ADHD follows up, versus stepping forward with ADHD, which it sounds like your brain steps forward with the ADHD first. I regimented my whole life, and I made it like kids needed to go to bed at this time. We had to do showers. We had to do this. I lived by a schedule that nobody else knew. It was just in my brain. And if dinner
Right.
got pushed back by 15 minutes,
Oh my God,
will
meltdown.
struggle and lose my shit.
Yes, me too.
And then I was like, I didn't understand. Of course, autism. I didn't understand why that was such a bad thing. And I just knew it felt bad because everything else I had scripted for the evening was gone, so like nap times had to be at this time and this time. And
Yes.
my family was, well, let's go to these events. I'm like, no, this is nap time. We have to do this. And it made it really hard for my family because after divorce, me and 2 kids, a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old, moved in with my mom.
Oh God. No.
And this woman, and we have a much better relationship now that we don't live together.
Yes, but when you said you moved in with your mom, I was like, no, you were hyper criticized at every turn, weren't you?
Not as much. It was in my head, that shame gremlin.
Oh God.
She would ask a question and I would perceive it as a tone that she was saying it when she was just asking a flipping question. But because I had already had so much shame of I had failed in a marriage, I am failing with I think, so he was 3 and then got into preschool, and this beautiful preschool teacher, she was like, oh yeah, he hides under the desk. He perches on his chair. He has these outbursts. And she took him for who he was, but she also knew that she had me, that I wasn't going to say, you're a bad teacher, you're failing him. We got on a first name basis. We had a daily notebook where she would write his struggles and I would work with him in the evening. You're describing
my life with my middle child, but we did not have a cooperative relationship.
And I have not always had teachers that were cooperative. I am so grateful that the first teacher he had, because it
set a tone for how things can be too. Yeah.
And it pushed it to where he did not get diagnosed until he was 8.
Oh, wow.
And it took years he's got sensory processing disorder. He's not autistic. No, he's making A's in school. He's not ADHD. He's not this. The school cannot test him because he's not failing at school level. So I had to take it outwards and I had to go get that. And so once he got that diagnosis, it's almost like a path opened up. And I was like, I'm on it. This is how we learn. This is how we go.
Yes. Yeah, I totally get that. I think, man, I remember when dinner was at 5:00 every day. I remember and then when it got pushed back to 6 for sports, like I just remember. And I also, created so much judgment for other people too, because I couldn't understand why they didn't do things the way I did. You know what I mean? And so
I do.
I remember just shit I put myself and my husband through, the second husband, when dinner didn't happen because he was in charge. And he's more of a stay in his brain all day. He's autistic too.
That's my man friend. I get that.
Yeah. And he just loses track of time. But I was like, dinner has to be served at 6 o'clock. Like, what are you doing? I mean, at bedtime, if they are not asleep by 8 o'clock, like their brains don't develop. I mean, all of the things.
Have you ever had those moments where you tell them dinner's at 6, but because ADHD brain, like the time management or time blindness is, we don't think about how long it's going to, or not everyone think about how long it's going to take to prep the meal, to cook the meal, to do everything. And so like my man friend, okay, yeah, I'll make dinner tonight at 6. And then it's 5:45 and he hasn't started yet. And my brain is on this rigid schedule.
Yes.
And it's so hard. And it's something I've had to work through with. You know what? If we eat at 6:30, the world's not going to end.
Yes. That's where I've been since my little, nervous breakdown. When I just started really, I had a spiritual awakening during the healing phase. And I just kind of reached different levels of consciousness, I think, to where I understand that literally nothing fucking changes. Like, and so because this is the thing, I also feel the best if I live in a very sterile home. I live with 4 other people who don't feel that way.
Boy, do I understand that.
I had to concede. Now, my house is straight up trash now because I'm up against 5 people. And when I say I let it go, I said, fine, I give it to the universe and let it go, because I can't, I can live in a middle ground now where I didn't used to, where I can be okay if just the kitchen's clean or the kitchen and living room instead of everything in the house. Like I would do, first of all, I'm too old to do it now. I don't have the energy or, what's that word? Not longevity. Anyway, my brain's going to do this to me today. But so I will run out of energy far before I used to. Yeah. But I mean, physically, I can't do it. Whereas used to, I didn't stop until the entire house was clean. So if that's at 2, 3 a.m., yeah, that's where I lived. But now I'm like, okay, let's do a reset in this area or whatever. But that was part of just like letting go a little bit for me, because I really struggled. Like, what do you mean the house doesn't have to be perfect? You're a dick for not caring when you see how much this is impacting me. Where now I'm like, well, then maybe we don't make it impact us as much. So I've really, really worked on it. There are days I'm staring at a very dirty bedroom right now, and it is very overwhelming, but some days I don't give a shit, it just is what it is. And I am only capable of so much. And I'm the one, if I want a family management system, I have to implement it and then stay on top of everyone, because my boys are grown now, but they, like, the 22-year-old moved home last August because he wanted to go back to school. And I was like, yeah, come home. And then my middle one just turned 18, but they're like, give me a list, like if you will give me a list. And I'm like, I hear you. I feel you. I think that's great. But then I have to sit down and take everything.
It's the mental load.
Yes. One of the things that made me have a breakdown this morning is the fact that 4 times I have sent a link to my husband to ask him to take care of ordering a dance ticket and the shirt that goes along with it for our 10-year-old. 4 times. 4. He waited till it was too late to be able to get the fucking shirt. Is she still going to be able to go to the dance? Yes. Is she going to have the fucking shirt? No. I lost it because I'm also dealing with some other stuff right now. So I was like, let me just make everything about this shirt right now. But I say to him all the time, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I can't, I reminded you a bunch even. I didn't just hand it off.
Have you heard of the game and the book? It's called Fair Play.
No.
Saved Marriages.
Really?
Fair Play. It's a game and it comes with a book. It's, I think, written by a clinician. I don't know. It's the idea of, it's CPE, conception, preparation, and execution. The idea of, he brings home flowers. Okay. Does he cut the flowers? Does he get the vase? Does he put them in the vase? No, that's mental load work that we do. And so the CPE, oh, look, I want to bring her flowers. That's beautiful. Okay. But don't give me a task. You do the entire thing. Same with grocery shopping or cooking dinner. It's one person does the entirety of it. And then they have these little cards and you could see where that deviation comes in with the things that we do. And then it's communicating, so much communicating, and communicating without judgment. And I know your brain doesn't work like my brain does. However, if you understand your brain's not going to remember, what ways are you going to set yourself up to remember to do this? So I'm not telling you.
That's been the biggest fight we have had for an entire 16-year period. So, like, flat out, there is no way. We've done it all. We've done calendars, even though he keeps up fine with work on his work calendar. Every single thing that we have tried has failed. So I literally, again, just have to get to a place where I go, okay, well, if I don't want to be miserable all the time, I have to just go, this is an area that he's gonna drop the ball. Like, this is
enough.
You know, like, because I don't have any other choice other than divorce, obviously. But like, I do know he wants more than anything to make me happy and to show up for me and whatever. So I'm not going to do what I used to do, which is literally personalize the entire experience and be like, you're communicating to me that you don't care and da da da. I know it's not that. His brain is his brain. I think I'm so much more compassionate for it now that I have such a full understanding of how I work. You know, like, I'm like, okay, if I have particular needs, I mean, I think that's really been the exercise for me is it a need or is it an expectation? And I think I would be working in this, like, expecting to never be let down, you know?
Oh yeah, that'll make you frustrated.
Yeah, and living in this betrayal wound where every time you did say you would do something that you didn't do, wide open at all times, because that's my biggest space. I had parents who were addicts, so they literally let me down all the time. And my dad was one of those dads that was like, got one of those got the warm and fuzzies from telling you he was going to do something and seeing how light and bright it made you.
But then the follow through is not there.
That moment's over. He got what he needed. He got that dopamine hit and the good old oxytocin, like, we love each other. Got the fuck out. And then I'm over here suffering when he doesn't show up. And he doesn't have to see that because he didn't show up. Like, he doesn't call. He doesn't anything because he doesn't want to hear.
That's the work you have to do on yourself to say, he's not going to fix this. How can I work on this to be okay with myself within this?
And what I learned too is so much of what I was actually doing was being upset with myself that I even needed the help to have to ask in the first place. And I was so frustrated and kind of shameful about the fact that, like, I'm not some superhuman that can do everything for everyone without ever asking for help, because somewhere along the way I was programmed to believe that, you know? So
it's the enoughs. I am not enough. And so I make all my clients make it's the I have enough, I do enough, I am enough, because it's the why wasn't I enough to be more than your addiction? Why wasn't I enough?
I remember that,
for you to care about me more than this? But it's not. You can't put that on you.
Exactly. Me or him. Like, what a weight to, like, try to unburden myself and throw on him. Like, you have to care about me enough. And also part of my expectations and betrayal really centered around being so full of holes from all the things I didn't receive in childhood that I'm now asking everyone around me to fill me up and make people think I'm special and chosen and a priority and all the things. So that's really been my work, is understanding, like, I was always special. None of that shit had shit to do with me, you know, because my parents are gone now. They have been for a really long time, but I don't get to work any of that shit out with them, you know, like my dad,
but you know,
long time.
It's the idea of then having that spouse who says, I see you, like, I know where this is important to you. Let me show you, let me show up for you.
Right.
Not that you're looking to be rescued or to be saved, but it's that, no, I want the person who is my forever person to show up just for me, and finding out what your bar is for showing up. Like, I know, man friend, you will always be late because I can just get dressed and get out the door. This beautiful human, he will take his time. He dances to the beat of music only he hears. And
Yep.
he meanders and he does. And so I know if I want to get somewhere at a specific time, I have to tell him the time and possibly even push that time 30 minutes ahead.
I have
But
to
I
give
had to learn that.
15-minute check-ins, like, hey, we're leaving in 45 minutes. Hey, we're leaving in 30 minutes. Because his brain also does this thing where, like you were saying, if dinner has to be served at 6, he's thinking started at 6.
That's exactly right.
I'm
And
like,
I do that parenting as well. Is that ADHD brains, autism brains, we need that transition time. So even letting
absolutely.
15 minutes, I need you in the shower. Like you can shower now or you can shower in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Okay, cool. It's you have that autonomy to decide, but
Yes.
you're still doing it. And that's funny enough, where ADHD, I've learned it starts showing and presenting itself in middle school, because elementary school, unless you have like those really high behaviors that are noticeable.
My middle one did. Yeah.
Mhm. Once middle school comes and you have multiple different teachers and then you go to different things in transition, and it's that task switching,
Yeah.
and you don't have that ability to regulate nearly as much. And
I will say that the middle school posed some very specific challenges, but even high school was rough for him for that reason, because you don't get the amount of time that you need to flip that over in your brain.
It's different for us now because we have A day and B day, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And so like my middle schooler is in 8 classes a day. My high schooler, he's in 4, and they switch off 4 and 4. And the classes are longer. Maybe 5 and 5, because I think like the specific like math and science is every day, but some classes are every other day, which makes the transition for the brain easier.
Yes, yeah, I like that.
It's been really great.
I just think that's the biggest struggle too that I see in all of us with any sort of neurodivergence is this. I think it's hard for us to see others and feel seen by others because we feel so different if you don't understand, like just where I understood that just because I felt like this shit had to be done at a certain time doesn't mean it actually does. Like, I'm saying it is a true spiritual evolution to be where I am right now.
I love
with
that.
a dirty ass house and a disorganized life and whatever, because none of it matters. You know what? Like, it's nothing. Would my life run a little bit smoother with a little bit better scheduling? Sure, but it's not like out of control. We're making it to the shit we need to make it to. And also, since I've become far less of a bitch when we are going somewhere, we have not been late recently because I'm not like trying to puppet master everyone. Because that's the thing, is like, if I'm carrying the mental load, at some point that is a choice. Because if I want
I agree.
I believe that actually, I think we all carry a narrative that's like, well, confirmation, the weight of the world's on my shoulders alone to carry with nobody to help me. So what am I doing? I'm looking for every little confirmation of that negative bias.
And that confirmation bias, if you're looking for it, you're going to find it.
Exactly. Oh, I found it. Oh, I found it. Don't you worry. And so I'm just like, what if we just see if by some chance we're wrong and the world's not going to end if we are, and that was the reason too, Whale and my little shame archetype, that would be like, people cannot be talking bad about y'all. So your kids got to be like looking perfect all the time and da-da-da-da-da. And then I'd be like, well, my 10-year-old, she's her own person. She sure is.
Yep.
So in the morning, she's like, it's actually, since I've chilled the fuck out, she's doing it all by herself. But like, she was late one time this year because I was like, oh my God, Charlie, where's your this and where's your that? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, nobody's going to die if she's late to school. And she's my little perfectionist. So it's only going to take one time. And so I just sat back and I said, I'm sorry. I've made this morning kind of chaotic. Do you want some help looking for that? Or, I chilled because I do not want to send my kids off in that kind of energy. Right.
Right.
And she was late, and she's never been late again because I chilled out and was like,
let her be late, dude. Like, it's really not that serious. But I didn't want her to be late because A, that would make her uncomfortable. She's doing this to herself. B, the
Yeah.
teachers are going to think I'm a bad mom. They probably already do anyway. It really doesn't matter. You know, like, it really
No,
doesn't
I
matter.
love that. People, that took me a while to come in. The people are going to think whatever they want to, regardless. For autism, for ADHD, people are going to put me in a box that has it feeling comfortable for them, for these
Yes.
labels that's comfortable for them, not for me. I can do all that I can to advocate and promote, but that in no means is people are going to listen or hear. Like, they're still going to take it however they take it, and that's not something I can carry.
Right. And how much time as these good girls did we think? I mean, because truly the boomers, they programmed us to believe the only thing that matters is what other people think about us, and to prioritize the comfort of others above our own. And I talk about that a lot on here, about the situations that as a young adult and then later in adulthood that I have been in that made me very, 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 very uncomfortable, all because I didn't want to make them uncomfortable. I didn't speak up or whatever because I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to make it awkward. Bitch, they made it awkward by stepping over a really big line. Like, what the hell? But I cared so much. So something I talk about a lot is like not forcing your children to hug people or
So
even
much.
say thank you to strangers who come and give unsolicited comments and or compliments, you know, like, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I am saying if she's uncomfortable, I'm not making her be like, thank you. I mean, because I've stopped over the last 3 years and really focused on autonomy for her. Because I mean, I don't want her to think people have a right to touch her body or that she has to communicate with people that make her feel uncomfortable. But I didn't realize the programming behind all that.
Oh,
you
no,
know?
we have to deprogram ourselves.
Yes,
And
exactly.
it's different raising boys versus raising girls.
Yeah.
It's so different. And so it's as I'm raising my son, which, you know, talking about having to let go of things, this kid will wear 7 pairs of pants to school, 3 jackets, all these things. And I'm like, oh, you were just like a wealth of stink and gross and sweat. And I'm like, I can help to make sure that you shower every day. I can tell you, you don't need to wear 7 pairs of pants, but if this is comfortable for you, it's not me who's getting looked at.
Right. And also, what we want is for them to feel confident in whatever they're doing. So if they have that, why would we go take it away from them?
That's
Because
exactly
it happened
right.
to us. Because it happened to us. If our eye makeup was a little whatever, we got the comment from, you know, the woman in our life. If our outfit was this or whatever. My grandma was so fucking critical of me. And so I just try not to do that. But girl, some days she leaves this house and I'm like, that's what you're wearing?
I've done that.
You look beautiful. Have a great day.
What's harder for me is my 12-year-old is a girl, and she's, I'd like to say that she's less autistic than I am. She's definitely the ADHD brain. For me, I didn't get into makeup because I struggled with the texture of things on my face. And so my mom would come in and she was like, well, don't you want to get dressed up? Don't you want to look nice? Don't you want to? And so my poor mom was
about your appearance.
And because she did not understand. Like, for me, this was a viscerally gross feeling, but I didn't have the words for that.
Right.
And so my mom would just felt like she was doing something wrong. Like, what am I not instilling upon my daughter to brush her hair, to do this, to care for herself? And so now with my daughter, she's like, oh, well, I have a slick back hairstyle. I have this. Look at this makeup. And I'm like, I don't understand any of that, but I am here for you.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so funny. My daughter's almost 11. And so I kind of get it. Like, it sounds like they're very similar in the vibe because she's very on trend. She knows what's trendy and she does her makeup far better than I did even through high school. Like,
her skincare routine is better.
Baby, are you fucking kidding me with the skincare these kids? Because yes, I'm gonna buy it for you. You're so sweet, and you're like, I just want to go get this skincare for my birthday present. Okay, fine. So yeah, she'll be like, I did my skincare, but I'm like, does your skincare involve washing or is it just the moisturizer? Like, what are you doing? But she's just now getting comfortable to even try to put some makeup on before school. But when she gets home, she like is doing herself.
Oh my gosh.
It's so cute. But I'm like, what are you doing? It's so like, she's in 5th grade, man.
It's
she's
so funny. Yeah.
It.
As they are learning about themselves and figuring this out and what this identity is, oh my gosh. My daughter, I wash my face and then I use toner and then I use this. And I'm like, I'm happy if I wash my face for that day. And some days I don't have the bandwidth to do that.
Yeah, I'm kind of an all or nothing person, but recently I've been like, okay, because when I worked outside of the home, I was like, well, I was really depressed. So I focused a lot on my appearance. So I wasn't sleeping well. So I was like, well, like I'd be up at 3 a.m. like, well, I guess it would take me 2 hours to do eye makeup because of how much I was zoning out at the time.
Yeah.
Like I was just in a really bad place. So I'd be like, shit, man, I've been awake for hours and I'm still like rushing out the door because eye makeup. But like, I have not been fixing my hair very much. It's growing. And I like just jump in the shower and just like clean off. And then I wash my face in the morning. I'm not really good about taking my makeup off. In fact, my allergies have been really bad. And then on top of that, like eye makeup, sleeping in it, my eyes will be bloodshot. I had to put drops in earlier, but they're already probably still red again. But like, yeah, taking care of yourself, it's almost like you have to learn a process for it. You know what I mean?
Yes, but on top of that, have you ever heard of spoon theory?
Like the amount of spoons that you have in a day?
For energy?
Yes.
I think about that for autistic brains, for ADHD brains, and we have so much bandwidth to do these things and activities of daily living, brushing your teeth, showering, like these still cost tasks. They cost spoons. Showering for me is not just getting in the shower. It's like a 16 point.
That's how my oldest is. He's like, I can't do it because I can't take a shower without doing it all.
And it's not even
I say, why can't you just get in and just, clean yourself off so you'll feel better? And he's like, I can't. If I get in, I have to wash my hair because he takes way longer showers than I do. And he says, I have to do this.
Everything shower.
Everything shower every time. And I'm like, I said, would you feel that way if you showered more regularly? And he's like, yes, because it's programmed when I get in that's how I have to do it.
So I found workarounds in days where I don't have the ability, the bandwidth to do all of those. I'll wash my hair in the sink. Washing my hair in the sink. We keep a bottle of shampoo underneath the kitchen counter and we'll wash my hair. It takes 3 minutes. It takes less than a time to make a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And then I have a towel to wrap up in my hair. So wet hair is not touching my back, not making my shirt wet, not doing it so sensory. It doesn't do it, but it still gets you clean.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. I hope he can find something because he's so like, or not care. I wish he just didn't care because I don't care, but this is something that he shames himself about. Like I must be doing so bad because lately I this and then I'm like, oh no, man, I just don't judge myself for that shit anymore. I just don't because it is what it is, like if I feel like showering, I do it. If I don't, I don't, but I don't, showering's not one because I had such a routine when I was like working somewhere else that I shaved and washed my hair on Sundays. And then every day I would just get in and do a quick, whore bath or whatever. But like, now I still clean off most days, but if I don't really care because I'm not going anywhere most of the time. You know what I mean? So I just
keep baby wipes.
Feeling, oh my God,
whore bath.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that I have too sensitive of skin for that.
Ooh.
Yeah, like it's not good because.
But okay, so you have found that you need to do this for you.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Like I'm okay, but I wish he could figure out something for him that
I'd pick up baby wipes.
He'd have to do that. Oh, we have baby wipes. We've never stopped buying them since the youngest because we use them for everything.
Everything.
I clean baseboards with them, wipe off walls.
Some other workarounds that I have learned for me is I don't always do well brushing my teeth first thing in the morning. And so I have the wisps. They're like the preloaded ones. And I have the little flossers in my office. So I can brush my teeth in my office. I have a toothbrush in my shower.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah. It's like $5 for 20 of them. You don't you could brush your teeth. You could spit out if you want. You can swallow.
Where do you buy them?
Walmart, Target, Amazon.
Oh, I think that would help so much for my boys.
It makes, and I mean, it doesn't, it's minty. So not everyone likes the mint flavor. My boy child struggles with it. My girl child's fine. She's like, I'll put some of these in my bag because sometimes I just need to, like, I'm telling you, this girl, she's just so much better about caring for self. For us. I understand his brain.
Yeah, this is an area where like my daughter doesn't do great on. My boys, I programmed them intentionally and weirdly when they were little. I would do things like I knew that I was planting a seed, so I would say like, "Oh, really?" Because when I don't brush my teeth, I hate the way it feels, and I would get really detailed, descriptive of like how nasty my mouth would feel. But so they have great teeth, they're beautiful, and they haven't had to have a lot of work. But like in adulthood, that's an area that will fall to the wayside.
Yes, it will.
But like with her, I'm like a laissez-faire. I swear to God. Well, my eldest is like, this is permissive parenting, and I'm like, or I just realized none of that shit mattered in the first place.
Yeah, that I have learned. You are the first pancake. You're always going to be a little bit lopsided.
Yep.
But I was also younger when I had you.
I was 22,
with
motherfucker.
you.
Yeah.
24. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was 22 and my mom died while I was pregnant with him. That was a wild year. Yes, it was wild, and I was like going to be the perfect mom. So you got the brunt of every unreasonable expectation. I'm sorry. I do apologize a lot, but like
of the shame.
Also, I mean, I'm sorry, but like I'm not going to do that shit to your sister.
Yeah, I had so much shame with him when he was younger because he wasn't diagnosed at the time. And so I'm like, what am I doing wrong? How am I failing him? Like going to, not knowing that going to grocery stores is an overstimulation. I know now for me, it's overstimulating. So I'll get groceries brought to my car because going inside is hard. I won't go into Lowe's or Home Depot because those stores create tunnel vision and I just completely dissociate. Nope, I've learned those are not my stores.
Yeah.
And so to put that on a younger kid who has no idea what's going on.
Right.
And so that shame of, how am I failing? How am I fucking up? How am I doing this?
All the time. Oh my God. I just remember crying so much with my middle one. Because the oldest, he could mask and he really got through things pretty easily. But like that middle one gave me a run for my money. He still is. But like it took me going through some pretty serious mental health crises to understand, because my nervous system I was always dysregulated just from, all the trauma. But once I got my nervous system really sorted out and I just have built my life to be very calm, I am fine. But I also now can have so much compassion for that experience,
That's just, parenting is hard.
It is hard.
Parenting is hard in general. Parenting neurodivergent kids, there's research studies on this. It gives parents levels of stress on PTSD levels for combat veterans.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because honestly, we've been going through some shit with that middle one recently that I'm like, is this ever going to stop? But the thing I know about him is that he doesn't listen to me because what do I know? But like, it's so hard for him to be present. And he carries all this shame from all the years of all the negativity from every fucking and I felt like I was going to fucking war for him every parent teacher conference because all they could do was talk shit. And I'm like, and they'd always be like ADHD. So I told you I was afraid of the medicine, right? And I was like, yeah, and something else is wrong. This isn't like I was starting to see like with my oldest, a little bit, but I was like, no, this is not just ADHD, and I'm not going to go mask symptoms until I figure out what this is, because I started to think maybe autism by second grade, but before that, he had a thing where he would like rub things, to calm down.
Yep.
And I was like, interesting. And so he was a flapper when he got nervous. And I had no idea about that until I worked in education. And then, so I was embarrassed by it. So I was like, and I know he was too, because people would say stuff. So I was like, what if you took your hand and you just rubbed the tag right there you know, that's in your shirt, because they had uniform shirts, and so I knew there was tags, and you just calmed yourself that way. And so sometimes I'll see him reach back, like he's 18 and he'll still do that. But it wasn't until I saw my first like super autistic student flapping that everything got connected for me. I was like, I knew he was autistic. Like I fucking knew it, but I didn't know, you know, and also I couldn't afford all that testing. You know, that shit was expensive. It took a long time to be like, okay, let me come up with $500 for it.
So much. Or fighting the insurance, fighting like the doctors to get referrals to the insurance saying, well, you're going to pay, but you seem to be doing okay. Or there's not medication that can cure autism. But it's the idea of it doesn't need to be fixed. If you get like the excited flappy hands, and if this is causing you stress, let's find something that you can do that will cause you less stress.
Right. I mean, I swear to God, if you're a parent of somebody who's neurodivergent, you become an occupational therapist, a physical therapist, a regular therapist. I mean, you are all of these things just trying to raise one child. It is so hard. It is so hard. That's why I'm not surprised that like they would say that the PTSD is combat veteran level, because it was feeling the shame of failing as a mom that put me in this spiral, because I was like, I did this clearly, like something I'm doing or not doing. And then it wasn't until, you know, I worked on myself and figured it out that I was really like, this is just who he is. And you can spend the rest of his life trying to fight it, or you can try to get him to listen. Because it's things like getting into a fight in 9th grade and having to be like, Jake, I don't think that kid was coming at you in this way. I think it was this, and trying to get him to see other people's perspectives. If he doesn't understand it, it's dumb. That's what he said. Well, that's dumb.
Yep.
And just trying to, like, I would just do whatever I would keep saying it in a different way, trying to get him to see somebody else's point of view. And a lot of times it works. And then other times it's like, that's dumb. And I'm like, cool. Well, I got him to understand it on that kid. I'm trying to get him to understand on another kid. And he's like, Mom, are you trying to tell me every kid is walking around insecure and this and this and this? And I said, yeah, actually, that's the point I'm trying to make. He's like, that's bullshit. I'm like, okay, well, okay. You're right. I don't know shit about shit.
We talk a lot about energy vampires. And this worked for my daughter a lot. It was a Facebook video probably a decade ago where a motivational speaker came out to an elementary school and had a little girl pick on him. And was like, you're ugly. You're this. You're this. And he was like, okay, that's fine. Whatever. And he didn't feed into it. And so that's what we talk about with other people, that if they are not feeling okay within themselves, they're going to take it out on you. If they see that you are doing okay, they are going to try to take your energy because that makes them feel good. And so it's coming in energy vampires, and people do it as adults.
Oh, lots of adults. Yeah. I mean, pretty much if you're walking around unhealed, you're going to hurt other people unintentionally or sometimes intentionally. But
that's my favorite phrase. Hurt people, hurt people.
I mean, it's so true. And I know that I've done it too in my unhealed days, but that is the reason they say, like, when you are healing, your circle gets very small because you learn like who actually was there for you and who just benefited from your people pleasing.
Well, and as you're healing, you're on the same wavelength as others, but then you're doing more for you. You're working on you. You're keeping these boundaries, and if other people aren't, then there's a bigger divide. Yeah. So that way you see, okay, you're not working on yourself. You are taking advantage of my people pleasing, of my struggles with boundaries. Now that I'm putting them in and you don't like it, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the point of all of it, is getting to a place where you understand, like, my shit's about me and your shit's about you. Like, just period. As a mom, especially as a mom of neurodivergent children, just getting to a place where I'm like, I don't have to just like blame myself for everything. I can just support them. Like, you know, just love them and do what I can and understand, like, they are autonomous humans,
Right,
whether
that
I want them to be or not.
I can teach you to do laundry. I can teach you what it would look like looking for jobs and treating others in the way that you want to be treated, or like that's a rude way to put things. Okay, you're still going to do it like this, but I can model what hopefully is going to be the healthiest behavior. And when I know better, I'm choosing to do better versus, well, I know better, but I'm going to use that excuse of I'm still staying in my trauma.
Yes, God, you're so right. And I think the best thing that we can do for them is to model in those moments where they have really fucked up, and and just like staying chill and dealing with the issue as it is, instead of assigning all this meaning and emotion and morality and whatever, because I'm not programming you to believe you're a piece of shit. And you're seeing like firsthand that things can happen and the world doesn't end. It doesn't even fall apart. Like our world is a little tumultuous in this house right now, but like it's okay and it's going to be okay. I just have to believe that I am fundamentally supported by the universe and everything's going to be okay. And even if it's not, sitting in this shame spiral certainly doesn't help it.
No, that doesn't help. No, I love that things are going to work out. He can wear 7 pairs of pants to school. He's still going to learn. He's still going to thrive. If people pick on him, he may not even notice because he totally just is oblivious to half the things. And I'm like, fair enough. If there's an issue, I need to trust that they can come to me and that I have built myself enough, built up myself enough to know that they can come to me and I will not be emotionally responsive to them. It's that they can come and say, I'm struggling with this. And I won't take it personally.
Absolutely. Yeah. And seeing that like you are safe, because when I mess up, you don't become a different person. You are you no matter what. And I think like I talk about this a lot, especially whenever I first kind of made this realization for myself, that like the end result is going to be the end result. Whatever you're dealing with, a kid who's going to school, not bathing or brushing teeth or wearing too many clothes or whatever, or anything that's happening in your life, the end result is going to be what it is. And it doesn't vary a whole lot depending on all the things you did to try to control it in the middle part. And the middle part is where you can either make yourself fucking crazy until you get to the end result, or you can just be chill and let the end result be what it is. And that's what I'm working really hard to do, is just to, in that middle ground, go with the flow and be like, hey, I've been presented a challenge right now and I can learn from it. I do not have to assign meaning. I do not have to assign blame. I do not have to assign emotion. I do not have to assign morality. It just is what it is. And if I can just continue to be chill, we're going to get to that end result without a fucking mental breakdown.
Oh gosh, I love that. Honestly, it's even if I do have a breakdown, I'm going to come back and I'm going to own it.
Yeah.
If I snap at them,
because and I do, baby. Don't play. I do.
It's learning. Yeah. You come back in and you're like, because it's teaching them that adults can say sorry. Adults can mess up. Adults aren't going to come in and say, well, you need to figure it out. It's no, we can own it. We can own it. So that way it teaches you that you can own it.
Yeah. Because
you don't just pass it off on
the others.
We're
not going to be perfect. And so much of the reason we were holding so many others to this perfectionist standard is because that's the standard that we hold ourselves to. And I didn't realize all the ways that perfectionism pervaded my life. I mean, I really didn't. Even still, it's sneaky and I'll be like, is this perfectionism? It sure the hell is. And I didn't allow others around me to fail or make mistakes because I wasn't allowed to. I made them, but I was shaming myself to death over every one of them. Whereas now I'm like, two things can be true at once. I can be very loving and very compassionate for myself, for others, and I can still be a bitch when I have PMS. I sure can.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I can be very loving with my kids and very supportive, and then still yell when I just have had just too much, you know, like I'm going to do those things. And I'm every day just, embodying all of the acceptance of myself more and more.
It's an ever evolving process.
Yeah. And I think for me, I always thought there was going to be some sort of destination for the children, for myself. Like with the kids, you teach them this, this, and this. Then you get them to move out. They are successful. You're done. I wish, but like I don't get any control over it. Like my oldest moved out like right after he turned. Well, no, he turned 18 in November, but he graduated. He did the exact same thing I did. Graduated in May, moved out in August. I did that too, and I was like, "Peace be with you, son. I love you. You know, like I love you. I'm here.
It's that whole trusting that
you want. Yeah,
you know how to be a human, and if you struggle, you can ask, and I will help you.
Absolutely. And I mean, at that time, I was still a pretty unhealed version of myself. So I was really like glad that I handled it the way I did. But I just remembered my grandma really struggling when I did it and just like, you'll be back, you know, shit like that. Did I think it to myself? Yes, I did. But I didn't say it. I helped him. I co-signed for the apartment. I was like, yeah, if this is what you want, go live your life, man. And then when he decided he wanted to do school, he came back. Okay.
He was able to come and make that decision, and you supported him.
And I had to make my decision the same way. I didn't get serious about college till I had him. So, you know.
Oh, do I know that feeling?
It took time to like get my brain in a place to where I had to be out of the traumatic environment that I had grown up in for a significant amount of time where things could be calmer and more predictable to be able to go try to learn. Up until then, I really thought I was dumb because I didn't learn the way kids around me were learning. Like, I don't know, centimeter shit.
I don't know. If you think about it, it's the idea of we have to not be in survival mode in order to be able to do other things. And so it sounds like you had to wait till you weren't in survival mode and then have the bandwidth to have the spoons to go to school to do these things.
I had none. Because I went to school and I was like, what are we doing? I mean, all the time. The teachers hated me because I was very quiet and compliant. But like, if they called on me, I was going to be like, huh?
Yep.
I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing, actually. So sorry about that. Because I don't think I've ever told this story on here, but there was this girl next to me in music class when I was in like maybe first grade, second grade, something like that. She had a smelling salt. Why? We don't know. She's like, oh, no, you want it? I take it because I was raised in a house with smoking. I was pretending to smoke the smelling salt. Breaks in my mouth.
Oh, no.
Idiot reaction, like blisters, like, I mean, all over my mouth. So they have to get my grandma. We have to go to the ER, whatever. And I'm not going to say I was pretending to smoke. Like, I know better. So I think it took me a lot of years to admit that, but that's the kind of weird shit that I would just sit around doing, like nonstop. Actually, my first book I wrote, the entire first chapter is all the weird shit I did in elementary school.
That's amazing. In elementary school, the funniest thing I can remember is I was that weird kid that I was like, I learned how to crochet. I'm going to bring it to school and crochet under my desk. Like, look at the teacher, but like making baby doll blankets under the.
And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you just?
Yeah. And I was just weird girl. It's like, I'm going to crochet. And they're like, you're in third grade.
Everybody needs baby blankets, obviously.
Yeah. Like,
oh my God. This makes me so happy.
Back, it's the idea of my brain needed to be doing something to focus on what the teacher was saying.
My oldest would read while his teachers were talking. And he was lucky because he had the opposite experience with teachers that the middle one did. And granted, his behaviors were a lot less, but I remember his fifth grade teacher, no, it was his fourth grade teacher being like, listen, you know, this boy, he'd be reading the whole time I'm lecturing, but I ask him a question, he can answer it. So I don't say shit.
Yeah.
You know,
he's making grades. That was my oldest too, at least in elementary school. Middle school. Things change. I'm paying attention to the time. I know we have.
Okay. Yeah. So is there anything that you want to make sure that people know about you? I mean, I will say all the things off your profile in the intro.
Sure. Not even knowing about me, but for people knowing about themselves, like, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to struggle. Don't think my biggest passion in life is telling people that they don't have to make themselves small to make others shine brighter. Like, it's not on me to dim my light. It's not on you to dim your light. We can equally be there for one another.
Right, exactly. I say this so much, but like, there's room for all of us to win, and we win bigger when we do it together.
and we cheer for others.
Yes.
It doesn't cost you anything but time to smile at someone.
Yes. Or I'm really big when I am posting my stuff on social media, the time I spend on there is actually resharing other people's stuff. It's a commitment I have made because that's a way I can show up for people is sharing their
I
stuff,
love
you
that.
know?
Oh,
Well,
that's so.
not everybody. They're like, you need to spend more time sharing your shit. And I'm like, if I had more to share, I would. I'm
Again,
not buying
people are
into the fact
going.
that I have to post every day to this or that, or you know what I mean?
People are going to put us in boxes no matter what we do. So we just
Absolutely.
keep doing.
Absolutely. I follow the energetics. Truly.
Mhm.
It took a neurodivergent person explaining energetic cycles to me for me to be, and I had just gotten into this, like, I'm going to be more in the feminine, and just flow to where, whatever. And I've learned if I don't want to do it, I do something I like to do. And then I have the energy to do the things I don't want to do.
I love that so much.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I've had such a good time with you. You've made my
Me
entire day
too.
better. This was because I was like nervous that my mood wasn't going to shift and I was just going to be like, oh, really? Mm-hmm. But that's not who I am as a person. So,
yeah, we can go down all rabbit trails, which is fantastic because it's still people get to hear things. It's okay to be a hot mess. It's okay to struggle.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I do nothing but organic conversations on here because people are hearing real life shit. And that's the stuff that hits you where you need it to hit.
Exactly. Oh, this was so much fun. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. I hope you have a fabulous Friday. Hey, for
I
real,
hope
we
you
don't
do
live
too.
far. We need to figure it out.
We'll have to figure it out.
Okay. Bye.
I'll talk to you later. Take care.
Hey, make sure you've given the show a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening to if you haven't already. And check out my website, empoweredwithmelissahepner.org, or my link tree on Instagram at melissa.hepner to check out my latest offers or workshops.
Emotionally unavailable. Emotionally unavailable.
INDEPE and cut.